Hello friends, and welcome to the Nerd Workbench. Is your car clear very bad? Today we are using polishing compound and wet sanding techniques for a car Clearcoat's worst case scenario, and see how well both perform. So grab your tools and let's begin. These are all the tools we are using: microfibers, orbital DA polishers, high-speed polisher, compounds, soap, polishing pads, tape, and wet sandpaper. Now we're going to be working on a 96 Geo Prism. Its clear coat is quite old. It's even fading in some areas. Also the trees, raccoons, birds haven't been too gentle with it. Has pretty deep scratches as you can see, but today we will only concentrate on a worst case scenario using just compound and wet sanding. Now let's start cleaning the area with a concentrate soap and some water. First, we will wet sand and compound right side. Then we will only compound left side and see how well both methods do. Now let's inspect the surface. There is some damage that clearly needs an advanced repair, like new paint or clear coat. But for this experiment, we're aiming for the common scratches you'll find in heavy use clear coat. Now with damages like this, I will stay away. I don't want to make it bigger with the wet sanding or the compound. We divide the area. Some water. With wet sanding, you want to make sure it's not dried. I will start with a 800 grit wet sandpaper using my orbital DA. Normally I use a 600 grit sandpaper for clear coat, but this clear coat is very bad and I don't want to be too aggressive. Then goes the 1500 grit and I will leave it in the 2000 grit. You can continue with a 3000 or even a 5000 grit. It'll make your compounding easier. But now remember, the more you wet sand, the more material you are removing will look good, but you're actually making that layer or clear coat thinner. If you go too far, you will reach your paint and damage the whole process. You will see the difference between the sanded area, soft, and the regular area. Alright, let's polish. To remove wet sandpaper, I use a heavy cut polish foam pad and an aggressive rubbing compound. If you want to know more, I will leave some links on the description. Now place a small amount on the pad. Oops, a little too much. It's alright. I use the DA for now to spread the compound evenly and prime this pad. Now I use the high-speed machine, set speed on 1, then on 2, and I'm using the same primed pad. For more coating power, you can use a wool pad too. Now have in mind this machine goes fast. You can easily burn your clear coat if you are not careful, especially corners. Clean and we're good. Results: all area wet and shiny. You're gonna feel how smooth it gets. Look at that. Alright guys, for a clear coat in such a bad state, the difference is black and white. Now let's finish the left side with compound only. Same process, spreading, prime the pad and work that area. I use this type of softer microfiber. You don't want to apply pressure when cleaning. It can get scratched very easily. Just be careful. Now I use the high speed machine. I tilt the pad a little bit so I can give a little more pressure and have more coating power. My honest opinion, both did a great job. The wet sanded area took some of the very deep scratches that we had, and the compound area did a great job too. I can say the difference is very little. But knowing myself, I go an extra step. Let's check with the light. Alright, old side. Wet sanded, yep, it took most of the deep scratches. And compound only, it can be worked a little more, but man, I'm surprised. So both methods gave us great results. Now the question here is wet sanding better than compound only? The answer is, it all depends on many factors. For example, with the wet sanding approach, it's more aggressive, but you'll save time with compounding after. Now with the compound only approach, you will skip the wet sanding step, but you'll spend a little more time and product on that surface. Now, no matter the approach you choose, the most important factor to consider is the condition of the clear coat you're gonna work on. So you have to ask yourself, it is just minor scratches? Then go with compound only. It is a very bad clear coat, deep scratches and all? Well, add one more step and wet sand it. You may spend more time on it, but trust me, your patience will be rewarded. If you're a first timer on sanding, buffing, polishing equipment, then you can start with the Orbital Polish DA. It has multiple uses and is easier to handle. Now if you go to the advanced side and want to use more power, a high-speed rotary machine will be the way. There are plenty of tutorials on the internet for it. Just remember to practice a lot with it and take your time to master it. Also make sure to find a good quality rubbing compound and polishing products. I use these two, a heavy cut compound and a finer cut finisher. I know it could be a little heavier in your pocket when getting a high performance product versus the more general brands, but its efficiency will totally pay off. Of course, you use whatever you feel more comfortable with. Guys, at the end, an awesome result will rely on how much love you are placing on that surface. That said, hope you guys like this video. If you are interested in any of the products I used today, I will leave some links on the description. If you have any questions, write them below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Stay safe and see you next time on the Nerd Workbench.